you were betting at the age of 13?
Yeah.
Is it illegal?
Well, at first, like I remember when I was like very young, like maybe 4 years old. I remember enjoying watching my sister like play PlayStation, and I just like enjoyed the whole concept of it, and I enjoyed watching her. And then as I was growing up, at the age of like 6 or 7, my dad brought me to an internet cafe, and that's where I discovered Counter-Strike. And from then on, I just got hooked into gaming just because it was like a different reality, like
all the problems in the world just went away.
Everything was just in front of me.
So, that sounds good. So I guess your dad is a gamer too.
Not really. I think he was kind of sick of me like just staying at home, because I used to be such a big like book nerd, and I guess he wanted me to get out of the house and like be a kid a bit. And he brought me to an internet cafe, and little did he know I got hooked. It's not a popular one. It's just like one that was outside San Niño village. That's where I was living at that age. But yeah, it was just outside the village, and I just kept going there every day. And...
Okay, I thought it was like 64 MB because.
Oh no, that was like that's like a high end like.
Back then.
Yeah, that was like where all like the top players would play. No, I was just 7 years old. I was just schooling older kids playing Counter-Strike. I only really competed in Dota, but at the age of like 13 or 14, I was joining like bet matches and tournaments, just because like I was fortunate enough that I was playing in a cafe where the best player in Cebu at that time was playing, and I was like learning from him and whatnot. So he brought me along and taught me some stuff. And eventually I just got good,
Okay. Wait, you mentioned you were betting at the age of 13?
Yeah.
Is it illegal? Nah, just kidding. Nah. Just playing around.
Once upon a time, not much laws. There was not much laws.
Nah, we have laws, just no implementation.
Yeah. I don't know. I never really believed it could be a career for a long time. It was just like me blindly chasing a dream, like some kind of egoistic dream. Like I just want to be the best, Like I just love the game so much. And I guess I realized, like when I moved to Han, because like I had a pretty good reputation in Han, because I had like 2 accounts that were like top 10 in the world. So I was just like, maybe I am pretty good at this stuff. I think that was then, but then at that time the money was still very bad. You couldn't really make a living. It's like that's where I actually like played against a lot of international players, because in Dota 1 it was like more of just a local scene. Yeah, but then it's when I played internationally, I was just like, hey, maybe I'm as good as I think. Like.
So it was like validation for you, because you're actually playing against the entire world, not just bet games locally.
Yeah, my team was like top 4 in the whole world, so it was pretty amazing. Yeah, that's when I realized, all the hard work's paying off.
Wow.
You mean
No,
not stable?
No, yeah, like the salary, like you'll be lucky at that time if you were being paid salary just to play for a team. A lot of sponsors back then were shady, and they would like sponsor you, but not really give much. They'd take more of the prize pool and give and whatnot. For me, I was actually about to call it quits around 2014, but for some reason I was like, I'll give it one last shot. And yeah, 2014 was a stable year for me, like, because like I always felt bad because like my mom would be helping me so much, giving me money and whatnot, chasing this ridiculous dream of mine. And yeah, that's when I first got my surge of money, and the first thing I did was give back to her. 500,000 pesos for all the expenses she's spent on me. My parents were always bugging me, you know, like even though they supported me, like I mean they were against me playing, but it's just like me, like I don't care, I'll do what I want, you know. I'm kind of stubborn like that. But yeah, it was then like I finally was able to show them, like, you know, it's not a dead end, you know, there's future. It depends on the person too. It's just like my way of thanking them for being with me in this journey.
Okay, yeah, that's really great.
I've always been against like thinking, like just thinking about the race. You know, I always thought we're just a group of people trying to accomplish a common goal, and I never really put much thought into it. It's usually the fan base or the fans who are more like, oh, Filipino pride or whatever. It shouldn't matter what race you are, you know. Yeah, there's definitely like culture difference and whatnot that comes into play, like the mindset and the upbringing. So yeah, I mean, obviously it helps if you experience the same thing and whatnot, but that can also be a positive, you know. Like I always enjoy learning about learning from new things from people, you know, like their culture, their upbringing, and how they think. They always have a different mindset coming from, depending on where they come from, you know. Yeah, I still remember it to this day. It's actually back then in Dota 1, WCG was a thing. Like that was like the big tournament everyone was trying to play for and whatnot. And so in 2008, I won the WCG Cebu and represented like Cebu. And that was the first time I played in Manila, and that was the first time I got schooled by all the top teams, you know. So it kind of like pushed me to grow more, you know, because like I think I found at that point I was already at my limit in Cebu. Like I wasn't growing anymore. The competition was becoming stale. A lot of teams were avoiding my team.
Okay. You mentioned I won. Is that I won or we won? Like your team won?
I mean my team won, yeah. Like
oh, okay.
I just
okay, because that kind of confused me. So
no, I won it on my own.
Oh, is that the game where your team just quit and then?
Oh no. That's WGT or something like. It was also a tournament in Manila, but yeah, my teammates quit. They gave up, but I still had a never die attitude at that time, so I didn't give up. And apparently, I didn't expect like everyone to find out about that game.
you didn't expect that game would be legendary.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's weird that you mentioned WCG, because I played WCG since the year 2000 up until I vaguely remember doing it as well in 2008. I didn't remember there was Dota at that time still, but I was probably still. That's probably because I was focused on StarCraft back then. So yeah, it's good to hear that you also know that tournament, because that used to be the biggest in the country actually, and we have to thank Samsung for that, because I believe if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't really experience, you know, like a national type of tournament that they organize.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, I definitely, they helped me grow my career, you know, that it pushed me, you know, to want to get better.
Right. It was an eye opener for you as well.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
I think it would be Boombox. I think he's the captain of Admiral right now. He's the second most successful Cebuano player.
It's just gonna be a matter of time till he actually, you know, just gets to the right team and, you know, play the right games. And right now I think they're doing pretty well with Admiral, right?
Yeah, they're one game away from qualifying to minor. You know, he's already played some LAN events with Clutch Gamers. So yeah, I mean, if I was to say anyone, like the second best Dota player in Cebu, it's definitely gonna be Boombox.
Right. Okay, that's a great choice.
So So I was playing Dota 1 in Cebu after playing like in an international like scene. So yeah, and then at that time, a player named Henrik. You know Henrik?
Yeah, from
Yeah.
Arcanis.
He was Arcanis before, and yeah, like a lot of people were like saying, oh, he's the best Cebuano player and whatnot, and I was just like laughing and whatnot, not trying to prove anything, until we were playing like a small mini cafe tournament, and people like jokingly said, yeah, go challenge Henrik 1-on-1, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it, let's do it, you know, and we went 1-on-1, and I schooled him. And he asked me for a rematch, and I told him nope, because I have nothing to prove. I mean, I'm not sure, like, cause Cebu is more based on like there's a lot of casual gamers, you know, not a lot of people who has the drive or willing to chase what they like. They say they want to, but they're not really willing to put the effort. The reason why I say this is because like back in like 2007 or whatnot, like there's a tournament in the ICC center, and like
CICC.
CICC, sorry.
Right.
And then I overheard like a team like what was he saying? He was complaining to the organizers, like he's asking because like at that time only the first place had prize money, and the prize money at that time was quite big. And he's asking if like second place had prize money, and the organizer said, sorry, no, only first takes everything. And then he's like, he went to his team and he just like, yeah, let's just go. There's no point, you know, because my team was playing, and I was just like, whoa, like what the fuck? Like, I think it's the mindset that a lot of Cebuanos have. It's like they're not willing to take on the challenge, and that's why like because there has been a lot of tournaments in Cebu, but I think it's the payout or like the people that comes to the event, it's always so little.
Okay, that's so. You're saying that although we have competitors here as well, they're just what they do it like casually in terms of effort.
Yeah, I think that would be the way to put it. And then that's what kind of like drove away all the organizers and whatnot, you know, like why put the effort, like they got lazy putting the effort too, because the feedback that they got from the community was also very poor.
Okay, so for you, which one should come first? So you're saying, I mean, from that statement alone, I think you're saying competitive gamers themselves have to improve first before the tournament organizers come in. Or is it the other way around?
It's a bit of both, I guess. Like, let's see.
I mean, from your experience in Manila, how did it go? Like, did the tournament organizers stay consistent regardless of how the competitors were, or did the competitors like keep improving and the tournament organizers just played catch up?
I think it's more like there was just a high number of top teams competing at the region. Like in Cebu, I think you'll always have just one team like dominating everyone, and then everyone's like afraid to challenge and whatnot. But in Manila, it's like the teams are always up for the challenge. So yeah, I guess it's like that. What I'm trying to say is like I guess people are just scared of the competition here in Cebu, and yeah, it drove away the organizers.
Okay, that's so. I think what you're trying to say is because I noticed this as well. Since way back. You're trying to say that the competitors that we have here, they have this attitude that they want to be the big fish in their little pond.
Something like that, yeah. And then if they're not, it's like they're not willing to take the challenge, you know, or like
right?
they're not
willing to take the risk of losing, and then
yeah, it's like it seems like they're afraid of disappointment, you know, like something like that.
I would say besides that, I would say they're afraid of losing
Yeah.
Because that's what I noticed before. Like we like go all over Cebu just to find challenges, and then people would be, oh no, he's the best in this cafe, but he's not gonna accept your challenge because they just wanna. We feel like they just wanna be the best in their cafe.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's just something that you're. Oh, okay. So that's really weird. And so if you think if we change that attitude, then the overall the scene would improve and continue growing.
Yeah, I think that's the first step that we have to fix. Yeah, I mean, like, that would be awesome. Like, if I hear people say they want to be the next me, but I mean, I just hope they're prepared, for all the challenges that comes with chasing one's dream. Like, even though like you can say that I'm the most successful, it's like I've had a lot of defeats as well. It's not always rainbows and sunshine. Definitely something that's growing. It's becoming more of a sport. We have like coaches and whatnot, analysis. So it's definitely growing. I think the minimum MMR is whatever MMR it is to be competing with like the top teams, the top players. I guess top 100 MMR. If you're top 100 MMR, I think you have the skill to be in a team. It's just maybe you don't have the experience of playing in a team. But you have the individual skill, the individual mechanics and whatnot to compete with the rest, the best of the best. Definitely, I think MMR can show be a good reading for like how well you are and how good you are in the game. As long as you're every couple games you meet another pro player in the game, I think you're in the right MMR. I don't know.
This is gonna be very.
This is a tricky question because it's like I don't think there's a real right answer. I stopped schooling just because like I was never a big fan of schooling or like the methods. Like I hate having to learn from books just to know something. I like learning from experience and failure and whatnot. Like my favorite subject in class was math. It's because like even though you learn it from the book, the application is always different and you can always change it, or like you can formulate make your own way to solve puzzles and whatnot. So yeah, I mean for me, I dropped out of school because like I just wasn't stimulated. Like I was bored. I went to college for 2 semesters and I got Dean's List with like minimal effort.
Wow.
And a lot of it is also because of the school system in the Philippines. Like I went to San Carlos, Cebu. So I had this mindset is like I look down upon the Filipino education system because like it's not like worldly renowned. I came from CIS, so like I'm kind of spoiled in that way where I'm used to like an international exposure. So when I got to San Carlos, I was just like, yeah, I didn't think it was worth my time. So I decided, you know what, I'll just pursue gaming. And like I still had a backup plan. Like even though like I gave myself like a couple of years to try to accomplish what I'm trying to do. And if it really did fail, I had a backup plan in mind. So I wouldn't recommend anyone just dropping out of school and pursue a career in gaming. I mean, maybe in the next generation it will be more much better because like it's just booming. Eventually it's gonna be the new NBA where people drop out of they get like scholarships and whatnot from high school and they join like a team, something like NBA. So maybe then it can be applied. But for now, it's I was one of the lucky few who took that risk and the payoff, like it paid off. But I suggest if finish and get a degree because that's something that my mom always until now is pushing me. Like gaming's not gonna last forever, but I'm stubborn. For me, it's like one thing that led me to it is like I was bored with like my day-to-day life. It's like because like when I was going through high school and whatnot, I was a varsity player. You know, I played football or soccer, and yeah, like I just had this competitive nature in me, and I just like the feeling of competing, and that's what actually drove me, you know, like to stopping school. And like actually, if it wasn't for Dota 2, I probably wouldn't. I probably would continue school, but it's like I saw like, wow, there's a Dota tournament with 1 million prize pool. You know, it's like it like actually like it was a nail in the coffin. It's like this is it. You know, like it's time to just go all in. And I wouldn't recommend going all in for anyone else, but I still haven't gotten it, so you know, I'm still trying. Oh, like the most extreme case would be I would just join the military. That's it.
Wait, military
I-
as in the Philippine military?
no, American military. That was like in my back of my head. Like if really all things like my life is becoming shit, I made the wrong choice in life. You know, I'll just join the military.
That sounds like a self-punishment as well.
Yeah, you know. That's why in my head it's like failure's not an option.
I think
I mean, obviously, like another plan was like go back to school, but like if it didn't work out, I'd be like, yeah. I mean, I hope like with how things have been going in the past few years, you know, like they are more supportive and willing, you know, for their kids to chase their dream. Like there's definitely a future there, you know. Like I know because like I was part of the first generation of professional gamers where it was only like 4 years ago that my parents were finally like off my back and like, okay, you go do your thing, you know, because you know at the end of the day they're just worried about their kids. But then I hope that we're proving, like the professionals are proving to the parents that, you know, this is a future. It's renowned worldwide. You know, it's not a dead end. So I hope they're more supportive and whatnot. And it's actually crazy because for TI, like I mean I'm not like one to follow the government and what updates for that, but apparently like Tommy Osmeña, the mayor, like posted something about me. And Facebook, I was just like, what? It's nuts, you know. I'd never imagined that in my life, you know. It's an eye opener, you know. Like, and I hope parents don't shun their kids away from like from that potential, because you know everyone's different, and you know you never know if that's their calling.
it's definitely not easy.
Oh no, like that's like the misconception a lot of people, like a lot of my friends back home and people I meet who I tell them like, oh, I'm a professional gamer, they're like, oh, you must be having so much fun. You know, I'm like, trust me, it's not fun. It's a lot of grind, and you know, like,
Right, I mean, grind is definitely the word for it.
it's like it's no joke. It's like, and you have to sacrifice so many things in your life for it. It's like I missed out on so many family events, like people's birthdays, you know, like you have no control of your schedule just because like at one moment you think you're free, like for the month of December. Like I've never spent Christmas home anymore because there's always a tournament that pops up, you know, and you can't like say, hey, you know, I'm not gonna play this one, because it's like that's where the money comes from. That's where your like, and a lot of times it's a tournament that helps you qualify to the TI or something like that, or it's just more training. Because if you take a day off or a week off, that's a week that your opponents are getting ahead of you. So it's like it's very competitive. So yeah, just saying, you know, you can't think it's easy.
Right, yeah. We have to tell parents, yeah. Again, it can work, but parents should educate their children that just like any other profession.
Mm-hmm. Like it's the same case if they want to be a professional basketball player. It's not just because you enjoy shooting hoops in your backyard or whatnot. It's like you're actually dedicated to learn the ins and outs of the game and the mechanics and what it doesn't become a casual game anymore, you know, like
Right.
I don't like playing Dota on my free time. Like when I have free time, I'm like, nope, I'm playing something else. What put me apart from a lot of the Cebuano players is like I was willing to get out of my comfort zone, you know. Like at the age of 15 I moved to Manila to join Mineski, and you know, like I like my salary was very minimal. You know, like I was definitely not making enough to sustain myself. And at the age of like a certain age, I moved to Korea for all in. You know, it's like I guess that's one reason also. Is like you have to be ready. If you want to grow, you have to be ready to get out of your comfort zone.
Right.
And I think that's one thing that Boombax has been doing as well.
And comfort zone meaning way beyond just going out of your internet cafes.
It's like
Right. It's like,
experience new things, you know, like a lot of Cebuano gamers just stay in Cebu, so it limits their growth.
not just Cebu, maybe just one cafe.
Yeah,
which
so,
which doesn't leave a lot of room for improving,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
Okay. So yeah, again, great advice.
Rinse and repeat, you know, like it's always like that. That's the story of every Dota player that hasn't won TI. And if you won TI, it's like you want to get the second championship. So I mean, the aim is TI9. You know, I'm a little disappointed with my performance in TI9. I feel like I let myself down. You know, like I didn't play the best of my capabilities. So I'm coming back with a vengeance. You know, like I want to prove that it was just a fluke. You know. So I mean, and now I'm with TNC. I'm their quote-unquote captain, but you know, like, yeah, that's the goal. TI9. It's all good. I mean, I guess just shout out to all those aspiring Cebuano players. You know, like, it really is your dream. You know, you have to chase it. You have to work hard for it. Don't let anything stop you if you really believe it, because I believed it. You know.